dive over on the side of FlyQuest. The game plan here is pretty clear. A lot of squishy members. You know, when you're looking over at the Ashe, when you're looking over at the Jayce, the TF, you drop the GP ultimate on their head. You know, send in the horse, send in the Nautilus ultimate, Senna ults over top. You follow up with the shockwave there. On the other side, it's the same plan for TSM here. It's play to the side lanes, look to split the map, look to try to catch people out when they're in rotation, you know, absorb and defend against those engages, try to slow down the snowball towards Soul that FlyQuest may be looking for. But I will say, I still like this matchup a lot better for solo than the previous ones we've gotten.
Sure.
Can Jayce beat GP? Sure, yes. But you can also get to a point, if you're not ran over in the early game, where Jayce can no longer really punish you. You get to the point where you're clearing out waves, you can trade fairly effectively with Grasp, and you can survive that matchup. Build a little bit defensively, hold on, and we'll see if his team can defend him enough to keep him from getting dove, to keep him from getting crushed early, because I do think if he can hold on early, this is a much better setup for FlyQuest than we've seen the last couple times around.
Well, a better setup is what FlyQuest needs as we're into the third and what could be the final game of the 2020 LCS Finals. TSM back on form for the first time in 3 years. But they are into the finals and the favorites now with a 2-0 lead up against FlyQuest, who had a great year themselves. The rebrand, we had TreeQuest, we had SeaQuest, we had back-to-back finals. 2020 has been good to this organization, but they are staring down the barrel of a second 0-3 run in finals. Happened against Cloud9 just last split. It's about to happen against TSM here in summer unless they can find themselves a win. And Solo's Gangplank is a champion that can do it. He's very good at this champion. WildTurtle has had an exceptional Senna so far all split long, and PowerOfEvil finally got to counter pick the mid lane to handle Bjergsen. But so far, the Dane has had the way better side of that matchup.
Yep. The dive is going to be a lot harder, you know, with that Senna ultimate available, especially post 6. It's just so key. They must protect Solo in the early game. That being said, it's somewhat difficult because you have gone for Hecarim early, who is going to be losing out, you know, in priority towards that Sett. You know, Spica is going to have the advantage as far as that 1v1 goes. GP is going to be at a disadvantage early on unless you can really get a lot of good grasp cues constantly on the Jayce and actually poke him down. So your 2v2 isn't great, but you need to make sure that you're there to shadow him, to ward out for him, to try to protect him from that Sett so he doesn't get picked on.
Well, right now, early game has already gone Broken Blade's way. They met in the top river and Solo lost half his health bar. Yeah, he can eat potions, but that's not the way you want to start this one out right now, as Turtle takes some more poke, and an early anchor smash comes in for some decent damage. These short trades are very good for Senna, by the way. Auto Q is a ton of damage, and it even heals your support back up to make sure that trade really went positively. End of the day, though, the wave is still controlled by TSM, and volley hits 2, which is 140 health swing.
Exactly, and it's always hard as Nautilus, because if you go in for that hook, you can sometimes take a lot of damage on the way out. You get slowed up by, obviously, the volley. You can get slowed up by the Q from the Bard, even if it doesn't bind. So you have to make sure you're not taking too much damage on the exit of that. Getting eyes here on Santorin is going to be really nice for them. You can see that Sett is already sneaking around behind this GP. So it's the same thing as always, the game plan in full effect.
He's going to find himself a stun. You can not eat oranges. He's on level 2, so it's going to be a lot of damage here. Empowered Shock Blast is going to be flashed away from Solo. Already pushed away. The wave's in a horrible spot. He needs Santorin yesterday, but Santorin was already seen bottom side with no health.
This is pretty rough. I think it will eventually push towards Solo because it is closer to the side of Broken Blade, but he's still going to lose a lot of minions because it's not going to be a fast push by any means. He's down a level. You don't even want to TP because you know if you TP, your jungler's not there. So if you TP and Sett's still waiting in the brush, it's essentially just FF, like go next. Right. So he has to walk back to lane, which means it's going to be a free reset for Broken Blade. As soon as he didn't teleport, Broken Blade can actually just fully push out that wave. It's going to reach the tower. He walks back to lane. He gets a much better buy off of this. And again, it feels like FlyQuest need to be better prepared for this. I mean, it's been the same thing. All 3 games, they're going to attack your top laner. GP is most vulnerable in those early levels, and they need to try to better defend him and be expecting it.
Yeah, Santorin's normally such a very good pathing jungler, but you know it was chickens red and then a full clear bot side, meaning he's nowhere near top when the gank comes in. Instead of something, you know, where you end top side at 2.5 minutes, you can give a trinket ward. You know, that's the kind of pathing you expect out of a top tier jungler, and someone that I think was going to be jungle diff in this series, and Santorin has not been that in the finals. And a lot of that credit is Spica stepping up. All right, the man had 2 regular season games coming into the split. 2. Filling in as Grig and Acadian kept trading time on TSM last year, comes in this split off of a TSM Academy run, and you know, as time has gone on, as, you know, functionally a rookie, he's gotten better and better and better, and he's been outperforming players with 7 years more experience than him.
I think Spica's future is so bright in the LCS. He is clearly a mechanical god. This guy is really, really good. You just have to watch his Shen taunt from yesterday to realize how clean this guy's mechanics are. You know, extending the Shen taunt to catch the Graves and then flashing the taunt onto multiple carries. Things like that you just do not see very often. So really it's just the experience he needs. He needs to be able to, you know, have more and more games under his belt. He has developed tremendously throughout playoffs, throughout this split, and I think that, you know, the future is very bright for him in the LCS.
It absolutely is, and he could be well into winning his first title in his first full split as a starter and not just a stand-in as TSM went through jungle roster roles. Feels like the first time TSM have actually got a jungler they want to stick with for more than a year at a time, realistically, and a homegrown talent at that. Little bit of time in Echo Fox Academy, TSM Academy, and then on the main stage, straight into the finals here. Of course, the band back together with Bjergsen, DoubleLift, and Biofrost, and now onto the top side. Yeah, pretty good trading out of Broken Blade. He's himself low on mana, but with TP up, can easily come back to lane with a refreshed mana pool once he's comfortable on that recall. Had done a walk back not long ago for his Doran's Blade, and we'll see what comes through out of the bottom side, as right now there's a very big farm lead, and a jungler and a supporter here already. Spica cannot find the stun, though, and now a repull. Nice bit of damage there. Biofrost chunked low, but here comes Twisted Fate. Canceled by a shockwave means Spica is in danger, and it means First Blood comes through and oversteps just after we sung his praises. I am sorry for the caster curse, Spica, but the health bars are still running low. WildTurtle steps up for a Q and loses 200 health back.
What a good set of plays there, though, from FlyQuest, sidestepping the bar Q, fighting back, the shockwave canceling the TF ultimate in what essentially is almost a 2v4. They fight their way out, deny Bjergsen the ability to actually enter that, keep it into a 2v3 territory, turn it around, and get the kill themselves. Biofrost over the top. Look at the little sidestep there from IgNar, dodging out on that, and then you land the Q here over on the Biofrost, trading damage. Once the shockwave is canceled, Spica thought Bjergsen was going to be there, flashing out, but the turret is still locked on. Another one does land, and a late heal from DoubleLift. I missed that on the first play. Not sure if it would have saved him or not, but now we get to watch Bjergsen get shockwave. That ward over the wall really paying off, and that was a flash shockwave. So that is such an intelligent warding position, and to me that tells me you know exactly the range of the TF ultimate, because that is the spot from which you would have to roam. Keeping that warded instead of just the side brush gives you full information of if he's committing to the player, if he's just hiding in darkness. So really intelligent ward, and quick fingers from PowerOfEvil shut that down.
And it's not just the place of it. Like, yes, this is a reasonably common ward because it tracks a jungler coming from chickens down to your lane, but it's also like, I'm going to make sure at 5:45 this ward comes down so that it's there for the TF ulti for the next 2 minutes. If he's going to ult any time before 7:30, I'm going to have vision on the ulti, and I can get him if he goes bottom. If he goes top side, we've got oranges, it's fine. Bot lane's the target, and good on him to do so. You know, you could have done it on the other side of the lane, up, you know, on the left side of the screen and fog right there. That's the top lane range.
That's where there's a pink ward, right? Like, they actually have that kind of covered, too.
You know?
they're pretty
stuff.
on top of it. And credit to Solo, despite having his flash forced, it is just now coming back up, and he's really not that far behind. Yes, his teleport is down now, but both of their teleports are down. He has gotten post 6, he has gotten the Sheen buy, which is really when GP starts to feel pretty comfortable. The flat mana plus the augmented Q, obviously with that bonus Sheen damage, makes your barrels as well as your trading much stronger. So Solo can kind of get into this comfort zone now, where it becomes much more difficult for Broken Blade to actually punish. As long as he's not getting dove, he's going to be in a pretty decent spot.
So blue going to be handed off right now. PoE first to level 8 in the game right now as the top laner's doing battle. Good chunks right there. Hits every single skill shot, and Broken Blade gets 10 gold extra for his troubles. Thank you very much for the extra CS, and that lane's going to be continually pushed in. Early cloth armor, nice. Gets another big shock blast. And Solo, yeah, he can chuck some potions down, but Spica is here as well. Has to reveal himself, sweep her down, gets rid of the ward, but Solo, what do you even do here? Do you ult for a wave? Do you hope you can barrel trade?
I mean, if you see them at all, you've got ult for the wave. I think he has a ward in the pit, so I think he just saw Spica now. Yeah, he does. Because that pink ward never got cleared out, so he actually warded over the wall. So that prevents him from having to just straight up leave or ult the wave. And he saw Spica backed off after clearing that because of that pink ward. So credit to him for having those wards out in really solid spots. That allows him to just farm this up without having to overcommit to anything much.
Now, Kobe said yesterday, the mark you're looking for a fairly average Trinity Force on Jungle Hecarim is 14 minutes. So that is the timer we will track here So far, he's been farming well. Admirable clip, 66 CS is solid. Mid laner's farming exceptionally, hitting about 95 already at 9.5 minutes, so that's a really solid mark. And we'll see how much more can happen as the bot laners have been trading back and forth. Overall lead definitely with DoubleLift and Biofrost. I know they spent some time trying out treats, and he seemed to be a solid team fighter, but the laning phase was always better with Double and Bio. Night and day difference in the early game 2-on-2. The first 10, the first 15, very much better with Biofrost, and right now you're seeing it again. A lane lead for DoubleLift and Bio, and we'll see if they can ever transfer that one around as recalls come through and supports head topside to fight for that 10-minute Rift Herald.
And Santorin now, because he has been just power farming while Spica was trying to pressure top a couple times, tried to gank bottom. That didn't work out for him. Santorin is up quite a bit. He's 3-camp lead or so over his counterpart. He is up a level. So that does mean, come the first major team fight, he is going to be really ready to go on this Hecarim. That combination with Orianna is incredibly dangerous. You have so much more durability, not only with Command Protect, but the Senna ultimate coming over the top. That allows you to go very, very aggressive here. So FlyQuest, I think, will be quite happy with the pace of the game thus far. They have been able to get through the first 10 minutes without their top laner dying. Yes, he is a little bit behind, but that is definitely to be expected with the amount of attention TSM have put up there.
First recalls have been pretty solid, and the second ones and third as well. Manamune is a great item to be able to sit on for WildTurtle. That's going to feel really comfy for him, so he's just stacking that every auto, plus 4 mana. That's going to feel really nice. DoubleLift stopped by for an early Cull recall while still getting Zerks and a BF sword. That's already most of the way stacked, so that's going to feel comfortable. The Cull sustain is really what makes it a good recall, because you're really not profiting that much money off buying a late Cull and then selling it anyway. You only profit 180 total gold, so it's not that huge of a deal. Oftentimes you'd rather have bigger power spikes, but if you're just taking a recall for some regen or for a little bit of laning power, you really can't beat Cull too much, so that's just fine. Santorin, I like that attempt, right? Broken Blade, I think he did have the ward for vision, said, okay, I'm trying to time this, look at the Shock Blast, doesn't quite get the steal, Santorin still gets the vision.
Looks like it could potentially be a trade. I mean, FlyQuest started up the Herald, but then they see TSM moving up towards that Dragon, so I think they may want to contest. We did see Santorin pull off this. DoubleLift now backing off that Dragon area. This is by far the latest first objective that we have seen in this series. Biofrost flashed on.
Nice shockwave recalling on the ward. Hecarim here as well. Absolutely no way out. The magical journey is turned out to just be sleight of hand. Nice pickup there. FlyQuest getting their second kill of the game, and they're on the Drake.
That's going to grab them Dragon, so they will get that first objective here finally. At least it is very, very likely. You can see TSM cheating up towards that Rift Herald, but not even sure that they would have time to grab this. So it's a lot of resources committed to take down just that bar, but with him off the map, TSM do not feel comfortable to try to contest this, and we'll see if they can actually get anything for themselves up here on this top side.
Uh-oh, Twisted Fate is top lane, still pretty far away. Gonna wait on some of the oranges, might have been on cooldown. Ults the wave, he will drop. A nice kill up at the top side, even a plate for good measure. Clears the waves to no more turret damage, but that's still a good play. A Drake traded for a kill top side.
Not bad at all. They will add the Herald to that, though, and this is going to help to push Broken Blade a bit ahead. It can get pretty difficult once GP gets to this point in the game where he's just kind of camping at the turret and can get to that Triforce. He can start to one-shot the back range minions with those barrel chains pretty easily. So having the Herald to be able to actually break that tower is going to make it a lot more dangerous for GP to be out here on the map.
Well, red buff grab is going to feel pretty good. We've seen that one a lot of times where a big neutral objective is traded for something on the other side of the map. As FlyQuest are pushing in on the bottom side, flashes up in a lot of cases. Spica gets his own red steal, though, so ultimately 1 for 1. And we already know turret plates are gone in top side. It's down to the last 2. This is a very injured turret. Herald will always kill that one. Shelly will be summoned. Spica and Bjergsen will share in the gold. Solo can do nothing else but watch as his objectives fall, and TSM are going to earn about 1,000 gold off this charge and grow the lead from just over 1K to almost 2.
Solo, always liberal with the emotes there. Hits him with the thumbs up as well as the camping emoji. He knows he's been focused pretty heavily here. And we'll see, does he want to actually try to set up a freeze? I do like freezing from this position. I think it's something, if you can actually gather that full wave, where you can pretty much hold it infinitely. And as long as TSM isn't forcing something else on the map, and there's nothing really for them to force, this is just a win-win for him, right? You're going to be able to deny an experience, you're going to be able to slowly catch up and get that added CS to try to get towards your Triforce, get yourself into a much more comfortable position. If Dragon is up on the other side of the map, there's more of some counterplay for TSM, but for now, their only recourse would be to try to make a play mid.
Early flash, still Broken Blade's going to find himself a slow, nothing else to be done. Shockwave was held on too. PoE could have maybe gone for a bit of damage there, and you know, suckered him out of the turret. Wouldn't have been a kill regardless, and no counterplay there quite yet. Santorin still waiting on his ulti cooldown. A few seconds ago on that one as the team groups around bottom river. We've got still 3 minutes till the Drake comes up. See if FlyQuest never stack that one as the mid laners have the most gold, and then you got 2 more TSM members next up in line. TSM doing well so far in the early game.
Also worth noting, Santorin did get that Triforce right around that 14-minute mark, so as Gobi said, that is a strong pace to be at. You know, if you do not make any kind of side steps for boots or for upgraded smite or for anything like that, you can achieve that 14-minute Triforce. Santorin has gotten there, so while he has played a fairly passive game in these first 15 minutes, their team fight potential is going to be really, really strong. You know, especially once GP hits his Triforce, you have the double Triforce, you have 2 tiers stacking up. They're looking to make something happen.
Diving into the mid lane, Shaka going to get a lot of damage. Senna over the top as well as big chunks, but not enough for the kills. It's TSM doing better because Bard turned off the turret. DoubleLift fighting WildTurtle, good damage there, but Senna was already in the mix, and the flash is just too late. Ashe is going to drop down, so it is a 1-for-1. FlyQuest looking to get back onto the map if IgNar can find another engage.
Pretty good for FlyQuest, though, I would say, to be able to actually turn that around to kill off DoubleLift. They got both his summoners as he got caught in what was a 1v2. Looked like he thought he was going to be setting up for that potential 1v1, maybe against Turtle. Does end up having the extra member show up and take him down. Clever use of the Bard ultimate, though, to actually defend his teammates. You know, by shutting off that tier 1 tower as they were going in for this play. They ult in here from the TF. The Shockwave catches multiple members. The arrow actually connecting very, very nicely. And then there is that Bard ultimate that I was talking about. Makes it so much harder for FlyQuest to actually fight back as that gets shut off. Then over here on the other side, DoubleLift looking for that kill. Does get taken down as he flashes out. The auto is already coming through. Always going to follow there. And they grab the kill back.
Big Senna route. You know, part of the fight already. And then by the time the route landed, PoE was suddenly there. And it's like, well, I had to flash before I knew PoE was there. I didn't flash before I knew he was there, and then there was no way out of that point. Nice rush check, but there's still teammates coming around. PoE's got to be a little careful. Chugga hits 2, but there's still reinforcements, so Biofrost might not be killed. Shield comes in for Spica. Broken Blade's still playing defense, but IgNar is close by. Does not have his ulti, but an anchor could land if he plays it right, and that's going to force the flash out of Broken Blade. Nice couple of plays there, getting some cooldowns, but it's still a 1,200 gold lead to TSM, still in the driver's seat, but we are 30 seconds from Drake number 2.
Couple good plays, though, from FlyQuest, and you're seeing the power that their composition can turn around here. PowerOfEvil is finally looking in his comfort zone. A couple of nice shockwaves already have come out through this game. His Seraphs is fully stacked, so he's going to be pretty hard to burst down. And we have seen him really take over a lot of games this year from these types of positions. You can also see that Solo has essentially caught right back up as far as the farm goes. He froze that wave up topside for quite a long time, eliminated the advantage that Broken Blade had built up, and now the dragon is spawned. Hawkshot will spot him. Nice. We'll see if they want to contest.
Good damage on an IgNar here as we are an item and a half in on the Jayce. As the group is here, we've got Gangplank walking down, ulti up in about 10 seconds, Shockwave up about the same time. All the ulti's about to come up across the board, pulling in the front line, big damage, dunk comes across, and IgNar finds a kill on a Spica. A Fear pushes away one more, but Santorin's got to run away because Bjergsen is on the chase, wants his kill, will find the 1v1, assists across the board, but now he's on the wrong side of this map. Does have flash, burns it, Solo can't find himself a slow, and Bjergsen gives him the happy feet. Comes out with a 1-for-1, both junglers are dead, and that means no smite to play for this one.
Nice pick onto Spica. They burst him down before he can even use that passive with the W to get that shield up. But then Bjergsen just takes out Santorin, who opted into that fight. You know, Santorin ulted over for Bjergsen, and Bjergsen not only kills him off, but does end up surviving. So denying the opportunity for FlyQuest to take that dragon off the pick that they did earn. And now TSM with the health advantage, they can start this up. Neither team does have smite. Hecarim has respawned though, and he is fast coming out of the base. So we'll see if they actually can finish this before he gets here.
Well, right now, 1,000 gold lead means they're going to feel comfortable on the map, and it means that, yeah, FlyQuest not going to answer in time. A great magical journey gets them away before the hook can ever land. And TSM tied the turret score. We're going to have a nice Cloud Soul game into this one, so eventually ulti cooldown, and at the very end, movement speed at the end of the day. And, well, right now, TSM still feeling good, still feeling 600 gold ahead, and FlyQuest have to work back from this.
There's honestly a lot of champions here that really do like that Cloud Soul, but TSM looking for a pick here onto Solo. They're chasing him down.
Ghost, gold card, and a 1v2. Eats the oranges and runs for dear life. He does have a turret to run to, and that means just losing the flash gets away with it, and that did cost the Spellbook TP out of Bjergsen. He then, popped his real ghost to make the rest of the play. Or, sorry, the TP out of Broken Blade, I should say. That's what he actually burned. And then we still have Solo trying to last it under turret, and pretty successfully so. He's now actually farm ahead right now, but sometimes that can cause taxes on everyone else. You can see mid lane is about +10, bot lane's +5, a jungle farm lead for Santorin.
And I'd like to see Solo just go a defensive build this game. You know they're going to pick on you for the rest of the game. Just go Sterix and stuff. I don't think it needs to be an Essence Reaver game. I think you can afford to just go for that tankier option. TSM is even sticking around here, looking to try to dive.
They're trying again. Ulti's for the wave. He's going to try to win it from Bjergsen. Get away from the wall so he can't be stunned up, but, well, you can't get out of the Bard stuff. Here comes gold card number 2. Shock Blast a little early. Doesn't really matter. He is going to run out of health. The Senna far too late. I don't believe it was on cooldown, but maybe it was. End of the day, though, they still get that kill picked up, and so much time and effort was spent. But FlyQuest are pushing other lanes. They are going to trade top turret for bottom turret. Yes, the kill went through, but at least objectives are getting traded equally.
They're going to be able to take down that tower. Really not bad for FlyQuest whatsoever. GP, I think, is just so much more effective in this type of situation. Even if you are putting him behind, he's still going to get that farm. He's still getting his gold. He's actually up on CS. And this, I think, is... It's funny to say it about a 0-2-0 game, but this is showcasing, I think, some of the strengths of Solo, that he can get so much attention towards him and still stay relevant and still be strong for his team. He is going to go for the Essence Reaver build, it looks like, so he's not going to opt for the more defensive option. The CDR, of course, will help him out too. Having the quicker oranges for the gold cards and ults to use defensive. Nice little time shockwave there from PowerOfEvil, but not going to amount to much as there was no follow-up.
Yeah, and ultimately Biofrost is going for a moderately tanky build. Shirelia's makes a lot of sense. Extra Ruby Crystal on top, and of course, as you tend to do with Bard, going for the more defensive option with the Relic Shield as well means he's actually fairly durable and, not Sona levels of burstable, and yeah, it's just not enough out of PoE just yet. Going towards Spellbinder, an item you actually love to see second a lot here on Orianna. The raw AP, the movement speed feels really, really good. You tend to be really bursty. You pop the stacks all at once when you go for the combo, and that's actually going to be more raw damage than Death Cap, and it comes online a little bit sooner. Big fan of these builds. See if it comes into play, as it is a fairly bursty combo out of FlyQuest, across the board, really, right? GP ult comes over the top. You try to get the sweet spot for true damage. Hecarim dive comes in. It's all really all at once. And, hey, TSM only have one true tank with Sett.
Yep, and the disengage becomes so hard when you're slowed up by that GP ultimate. If it's placed, kind of essentially just overlapping you and all the way behind you, and then all of a sudden from in front of you, there's the Hecarim, the Nautilus, the Orianna ball, all these things flying at you. You're essentially forced to retreat through that GP ultimate. You're slowed up. It does actually a very significant amount of damage, especially as you start stacking up that AD. So can be pretty tough to deal with, and we have been seeing the popularity really rise of those Leandries builds, which makes the GP ultimate that much more threatening just in and of itself.
Well, waiting for the next objective. 80 seconds till the Cloud Drake spawns. Both teams are only at one dragon right now, so there's no imminent rush for it unless you think you're going to get outskilled. You got to start stacking these now and try to find yourself a 38-minute Dragon Soul as the hopes of coming back from a late-game deficit. Otherwise, though, you can give it away without too much issue. We'll see if mid lane is under fire before too long as, well, Turtle and IgNar shove in the way, but Bjergsen feels comfortable to red card, wild card, and no one's here to stop them. Spica is waiting in the wings, but he's actually on a ward doing so. Ultimately means he's not going to find much done. Still 50 seconds in the Drake, and that means you're just playing mini waves right now.
Both these mid laners have just been so good at farming across this entire series. They're both consistently above 10 CS per minute. They're always flanking picks and looking for that ultimate very proactively. Again, they force out the flash. Bjergsen's already on 3 items. Like, this is so fast because he farms so damn effectively. He has kills, he has turret plates, he has 240 plus CS at 22.5 minutes he had that. So the rapid fire is already completed with the fully stacked Roa plus that Lich Bane. And now PowerOfEvil is going to be in a dangerous spot. If he wants to actually try to come in and try to fight this next dragon, there is the possibility of getting Bard ulted, of getting set up on, of getting Ashe ulted. And if you get caught without the flash, you're in trouble.
Wow. A lot of damage here, but they found a catch on the front line, but not in time with the shockwave. For now he lives and now he dies. Santorin, you see him, now you don't. Spica, low health, nice barrel comes through as Solo rejoins the fight. Gold card finds a disengage. Anchor's going to get the mid laner, and that's going to be Azonia's Hourglass. A stopwatch burn. Can there be a re-engage? There is not. There is a bit of wave clear, and there is no top laner for TSM. That means FlyQuest can walk right in, and for a comp based on ultimates, Cloud Drake is a big deal here.
It really is, and also pretty heavily based on move speed. Hecarim gets damage from that move speed and becomes even harder to disengage from him. When you have the phase rush, if you actually get to Cloud Soul and you're playing phase rush Hecarim, it's one of the most fun things in the game, to be honest with you. You E in there, you hit your ult, you have a phase rush procced, and you're just running at 1,000 miles an hour. Even if someone flashes away from you, you pretty much don't lose auto attacks. You're just instantly back on top of them. So let's watch this one more time. A great catch over onto Broken Blade, speed up, flash Q lands, and then notice the placement here of the GP ultimate. This is what I was talking about, where you want to place it just over top of them and behind them. So Spica has to walk through essentially the entire GP ultimate, tanking that damage because FlyQuest is pushing him back towards it. Santorin looking for a pick.
Ooh, nearly getting the target there, but it was a flash journey for Biofrost to get away before Hecarim could land the auto attack that otherwise would have been a death and a CC chain with the anchors out of IgNar. So FlyQuest are fighting back in Game 3. If you're a fan of seeing more than 3 games of League in a day, which the LCS can hopefully provide, WildTurtle, okay, he does have the ability to cleanse away, walks out. FlyQuest maybe might bring us to Game 4. They're playing 25 minutes closer than they have all series long, but TSM ready to push down mid.
Bartle's up in like a second, and if they actually move up too far, they could look for this. I like that Bjergsen is threatening on that side right now, trying to wrap around. They saw that PowerOfEvil was up in that top side, so going to be difficult for him to respond quickly enough to really affect that potential fight. TSM getting an objective back for themselves. DoubleLift ulti on his head, and he's just going to get run down.
They're running for him. Here comes the fast horse galloping down gallantly, and 400 kill gold comes through, but PoE is just as easily taken down. It took 3, but it's still the same cash money coming across. TSM get vengeance for their bot laner, but now it's mid lane under fire. Missing Ashe, missing Orianna. TP from the behind. Here comes the gold across, and here comes the re-engage. Movement speed in, but he stayed too long. He found himself stunned up. He finds himself a dunk, and he finds himself a kill on WildTurtle. And the engage keeps on coming. What a shot from Broken Blade. He does no wrong. And TSM find 2 more kills.
He just slammed him straight out of the air. No, you don't, IgNar. Get back here. They get the shutdown off of what was a beautiful hammer form knockback there from Broken Blade. A lot of action, back and forth fights as both these teams now have go buttons and are liberal with their use. TSM, though, DoubleLift is back up on the map. They are starting this up. Turtle and IgNar are down, and neither of them have teleport. So it's going to be up to PowerOfEvil as well as Solo and Santorin to try to stop this.
All right, 3v5 as DoubleLift's about to rejoin this fray. Now, Spica is a bit low. This is the nice bit, is there's decent vision, and the re-engage comes in. There comes the arrow, flashed deftly to stay alive, and that's going to be the least easy target is oranges and flash up. Nearly a re-engage. If Flash was down, that was a dead Solo. That was an easy team fight, and maybe a turn right back on a Baron. Nicely played on both sides.
All right, here it is one more time. This is the kind of setup that you're looking for. You just drop GP ultimate on their head. They're slowed down. You go right on through with Santorin, who is sped up, can easily take down DoubleLift. But on the other side, it is TSM fighting back, finding a pick there, and then they pull the trigger on the teleport here. Yes, GP does have teleport, but it's so hard to just teleport in as GP, because if he goes into the middle of all that, TSM just turn on him. So in goes Broken Blade, waits, holds the shockwave. Rather, that Shock Blast does nail it, and then that was beautiful. He's waiting in hammer form for IgNar to connect to the wall with his Q and just straight up knocks him back into the waiting arms of the rest of the team. They get the kill. They then go to Baron, force the flash off Solo, and TSM trying to stay aggressive, always going at their opponents. And Bjergsen now is level 16, has the ultimate available once more, so look for him to continue to try to make these plays.
He has the ult, and there's a lot of good targets right now. Solo's flatless, Santorin never had it. His ulti can help, sure, but PowerOfEvil has no good ways out of the gold card, while Turtle's missing Cleanse for now, and IgNar is, yeah, a tank, but you can still run that man down. See when it comes back in. 1 minute on Cloud Drake, number 2 spawning, and that will put FlyQuest at soul point if they can have it. 50 stacks on Senna, not bad. He's got 2 bonus ranges so far, and 60 is the next break point, so before too long he can do this, but can he get around the side of the map? Like, you know, walk over to the Wolf camp, try to get that one there. And not just yet, as TSM moving around the map, and Solo's about to be the target. This is going to be a lot of pressure out of nowhere. Turn off the turret. Easiest dive of your life. It doesn't matter what you do. TSM can cleanly walk away. Is there a re-engage? Is it even good enough if they do it? Anchor can't land. Easy down to the front line. Yeah, he ults, but they can maybe still burn him down. Shock Blast goes on a 3, and there's just no re-engage. TSM just around the map. They're far too fast, and FlyQuest cannot keep up.
This is the story of Solo's series. 5 members from TSM going for him. They're ulting the turret. He cannot stay alive. And then a great Shock Blast to actually push PowerOfEvil back. But credit deserved by IgNar. His Stone Plate was very well timed to absorb all of that damage coming through. They really couldn't threaten him. It does mean, though, that TSM will grab this Dragon here, pushing back any potential soul, giving them time to play the map, time to look for picks, and making FlyQuest's job a lot harder in this game. You can see PowerOfEvil having to take a sidestep towards that Quicksilver Sash. He knows how easy he is to pick off because he's a relatively squishy build. There's no health in this build. His defense is about the command protect, is about being able to get that Seraphs up, and if he is point and click gold cards done, if he is hit by the Ashe arrow, he can't do that, so he feels he needs to play for that Quicksilver Sash and try to stay alive.
He's going to try his damnedest, but it's running out of time here. FlyQuest staring down the barrel of a 3-0 sweep, and they're down 2,700 gold already. TSM have gotten map control back yet again. IgNar wants to make the play, can't maybe find the target. Finds a ward to kill, that's something. That's 60 gold in the pockets, and 60 more maybe as they look to knock down another one. Ward's coming down, Turtle playing over mid lane. There you go. A little bit of vision back, that's going to feel nice, but it is still TSM driving around the map, and I mean, they have been just everywhere. Full lethality at a Broken Blade, by the way. No Black Cleavers, no Manamunes, no Ruin Kings. I'm just going to burst your squishies, and that jumps Turtle to half every time it lands.
It does, and it's going to be a similar story there for PowerOfEvil. You know, even Santorin, he is not very tanky at this point. You can get hit very, very hard if you're flying in there as the Hecarim. If you get a little bit too far ahead of yourself, we saw this happen even to Self-Made in the LEC series earlier today. Get a little bit too far ahead of your team with that incredible amount of move speed that Hecarim does have. You can just get focused down, burst down, and can be in for a world of hurt.
At least Cinderhulk is done. The Merc Treads are in there, but yeah, durability, not an easy option here. You've got damage output in a lot of TSM's members here and a lot of CC on those who don't have it. Looking now at more damage. Santorin, you can see actually the tankiest member of the squad survives it reasonably well. IgNar probably would do the same as now we push back down towards mid lane, and you've got Spica waiting in the wings. You've got DoubleLift, the primary target, does have flash holds on, and he's going to have that in 48 seconds when he respawns. Shock Blast not going to land for much, and FlyQuest probably go for a Baron bait now.
DoubleLift was just out of position. From that spot, I think there's not much chance of being able to flash out and survive. The team needs to be around him if he is going to be in mid lane clearing that. And now TSM are in a really tough spot. You lose this Baron, you lose control of the map.
This is your chance, and the blast cone puts him in the wrong way. Solo! That is a crucial mistake. Senna ult's not going to matter. Anchor's going to miss as well. They got to find something to 4-on-4, but they're missing the Gangplank. Oh. He didn't get over the wall. That mistake is huge because that was the chance at a comeback for FlyQuest.
That was the chance of putting them in a straight-up lead from that position. Instead, not only can they not actually complete the Baron, they peel off, they lose a kill, and Bjergsen, he's unanswered up here on the top side. So TSM will answer the kill that they got over onto DoubleLift. They will take them off the Baron. They will take down a tower. And TSM holding on very, very well. I did not see if that was Solo, mistiming or mispositioning for an auto attack on that blast cone, or if it was someone from TSM triggering the blast cone to actually knock him away. Yeah, we can catch that in a replay. That
I heard Bjergsen is one who autoed it, but yeah, Solo not in the right place at the right time, goes down. I mean, even being there may be a mistake. We'll watch in the replay again, and I don't want Solo to get too much flack for this series because I think he's been put in a bad situation. He's been blind picked all 3 games, and he's been against TF in 2 of them here as well, but that one did not quite feel the same as the rest of the series. That's going to haunt him for a bit there. Either way, there's still a game to be played, a 3,000 gold deficit to work back from. And maybe they can find that pick yet again because these carries are still attackable, right? It is full squishy Jayce. And Hecarim, by the way, the Spectral Riders pop the Banshee's Veil anyway. You still get the fear. You still get the knockback. Your Q can knock off if you have to. Broken Blade's a target. DoubleLift is a target. These still can be done. Bjergsen can do a Zhonya's outplay, but the squishy assassination can happen on the FlyQuest side. We'll see if they can find it.
I mean, honestly, one good combo with Hecarim plus Shockwave could just decide the game. So let's see this one more time. Solo is trying to track where those members are and look to zone. Once the TF ultimate gets popped, he tries to run back to it. That doesn't really look like it was too bad from Solo, to be honest. Maybe he shouldn't have tried to go for the barrel for the slowdown, but it was clear they were looking to turn anyway. So I would say that's a more outplay than misplay. I think heads up play there from Bjergsen, but of course, these things are always up to a debate.
Looking for the play. They find a stun, and he ults away with reinforcements nearby. And the thing is, Ashe and Bard weren't near. That was a 3-on-3, but Santorin didn't know that. They couldn't have had the vision to know where everyone was, and it means he ults away to make sure he stays alive. I can't say it's a misplay. It's just he didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's tough, right? You know, if you have full knowledge, you know where they are, you don't have to actually ult out of that. But as soon as you see the gold card coming, you are right over by Baron. You know if those members are there to actually follow up and you die, that's Baron. That's maybe the game. That's maybe the finals. So he's not willing to risk it, does spend the ultimate. But now again, TSM are in this position where they force a critical cooldown prior to a dragon fight. And they can look to force before that comes back up.
Well, he still has Ghost, and he can run fast with the E. He can still deliver the Shockwave and try to find that engage. The same can happen here for Nautilus with the ulti, with the Anchor, as they're now going to play around this Drake. Hawkshot comes out for Vision, but it is FlyQuest with the ward lead here. TSM are trying to walk in. The barrels are set up.
Bjergsen's going top.
Easily get those. Bjergsen is not even going to be part of this fight, so it's at best a smite fight from Spica. They're going to get the Drake, and now they're going to go for the team fight. They found some engage, they got some damage on an Ashe, but Magical Journey is here, and it means they are safe. So now Bjergsen's spotted. Now they see Bjergsen is top lane, going for an inhibitor turret. This will take a lot of damage, it will not die, and it will regen back to 2/3. But PoE wants more, he wants to find a slow, but Bjergsen, I mean, he's not much of an easy target here.
No, he's not. But, I mean, if he continues to chase, Bjergsen is going to have to try to potentially use that. Okay, so he used the heal to actually get out of there. I was going to say he might need to use a summoner and try to create space for that ultimate, even in retreat. He does get out. TSM, you know, it looked dicey what DoubleLift was doing, but I think the call is for them to try to keep FlyQuest interested so that FlyQuest have to try to turn for a fight, maybe overcommit, buy time for Bjergsen to be able to knock down the base there. But it is telling that even without that Hecarim ultimate available, TSM was unwilling to take the straight up 5v5 without the setup, without finding a pick prior. They know how dangerous FlyQuest is in this position. Even behind on gold, I still favor FlyQuest in the 5v5.
Well, nicely done. Turtle manages to last hit the red buff, which is going to be good for the slows as he moves forward. Does have Glacial, so there's some diminishing returns there, but mid lane under fire. That one's one hit from dropping. It will fall. Gold goes over, looking for the re-engage on Bjergsen. They can't find it. He's already level 18. He's been split pushing so much, getting so much XP. A 4,000 gold lead puts TSM ahead. They've got the turret lead 6-3 as well. The question is, can the ult cooldown change enough on the FlyQuest side as they are 330 away from the chance at a Cloud Soul?
And PowerOfEvil is insanely strong. You know, he has those 3 super heavy flat AP items completed. There's not a lot of MR over on the TSM side. You know, there's some with the Locket. There's a little bit as DoubleLift is moving towards the Death Dance, but you know, that's not enough to protect you from an Orianna Shockwave plus the Hecarim combo coming in. But also, you know, very squishy. You can see that one Shock Loss taking off about 30-40% of the health there from PowerOfEvil. So he does have to be respectful, and it's always going to come down to execution in these types of situations where you have a lot of damage output on both sides and not a lot of tankiness really anywhere.
Total stacks were at 70 before this altercation in mid. It's going to be about 75 right now. Next range buff would be nice. Arrow's going to find a front line. Can they burn out IgNar? Pops the stone plate, runs away. Bardol catches 2. Dunk catches a couple more, and now the re-engage comes across. IgNar running low on health, but so is the front line of TSM. And right now, Broken Blade can't get in. Goes in for the slow. Good damage there, but able to kite away. Shields come in for the re-engage and for the kill. That is top laner down on TSM's side. It's time for a re-engage. Shockwave is down. Biofrost nearly the same. Bjergsen the target, and they're going to shut him down.
DoubleLift!
So far, so good, but once again, DoubleLift able to free fire. And if he gets a slow, he can find 2 more kills. Careful with the barrel chain. Finds the flash forward. DoubleLift saved it for the perfect moment, but the re-engage comes back across, and he's still surviving. He's going to finally come down, but the kills go back and forth and back and forth. Biofrost alive, Turtle and Solo the same.
What a game we have on our hands here, Phreak. FlyQuest will not go down easy. They are battling back. Such aggressive plays coming out on either side as PowerOfEvil is flashing in for the Shockwave. DoubleLift is flashing in for the aggressive move here. The mistake from TSM, though, was the mistiming on the clap here from Spica, I think. You know, pulling the trigger early there onto IgNar. But with the GP ulti between you and the rest of your team, Broken Blade then baited in, overcommits, and just gets knocked out. He got 2 hyphy. Then PowerOfEvil flashing in for the Shockwave. Well-timed Zonias from Bjergsen. But DoubleLift on the side is able to sidestep the hook from IgNar. And with that down, he knows he can move forward. He's looking for the aggressive play here, flashing over the barrel. IgNar, with his dying breath, lands the hook that allows these low HP members to barely knock him down. If IgNar took 1 or 2 more auto attacks before that happened, he would have gone down. That hook would not have landed. FlyQuest would not have been able to actually have the CC to turn and burn on DoubleLift.
All right, full builds, by the way, coming through for some members already. Senna's items are cheap. I will say Infinity Edge, I think, is a very bad last item. I think it should never fit in the build ever. The math actually isn't there for the item being good. So I think that is a missed purchase, but he's trying to do maximum team fight damage here. He's trying to get the most out that he can. You can see 6,700 out of a very, very aggressive Ashe build here, right? Nearly max crit right now, 1 item left to go, and they're starting on Baron as well. Instinct say, hey, let's blue trinket this. Okay, we see the jungle tank and the AD carry hitting this. We've got to re-engage here. And DoubleLift is flashless. He can be a target here. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, Hecarim and Nautilus are there. You guys are split. You got to be very careful in this position.
Damage on IgNar. He wants in from Hecarim. DoubleLift is immune here by Biofrost. Re-engage. Sent over the top. Shotgun catches as well. 1 for 0. Knock up there as well on Spica's got to be careful. Gets away though. But you can see the FlyQuest 5-on-5. Azael, you called it. You like their team fight power. And we saw it again. Easily accessing the backline. And nothing DoubleLift could do about that.
And that's Soul gone now. TSM with a very brazen call. You want to try to start up that Baron. You want to try to draw FlyQuest to you. Great. But then you're stacked up here, for the engage from FlyQuest, and even worse for them, they were actually split off, 2 on one side, DoubleLift and Spica over on the Baron. The other 3 were kind of wrapping around that little side brush, and Hecarim is going to access the Ashe so incredibly easily. Ashe has no flash. There's no way for an Ashe to outplay that. And now FlyQuest, they get the kill. They are moving to the Baron. They're trying to force TSM right back into another fight. And we see that PowerOfEvil has that shockwave available, and he's level 18.
Their ults aren't all back, but DoubleLift is still dead. Just now respawns, has to hoof it across the map, and that means, look at this, no contest. No contest. FlyQuest will find themselves a Baron. They will find themselves striking back in Game 3 when it looked like a sweep was so likely, but maybe TSM still looked to strike. You can see them pushing down the mid lane, jumping over walls, looking for plays, but DoubleLift is now seen farming in the bot lane, and FlyQuest knows there's no pressure.
And it's going to get really difficult now for TSM because FlyQuest with the Baron buff can just march down as a team and force TSM to respond. And that takes away so much of the power that TF has, that this comp really wants to play around, where they want to try to find picks, they want to try to find people split up and look for isolated fights, get someone in the Bardal, take them down. That's not that much of an option here. Even if you hit an Ashe or even if you hit a Bard ultimate, the ability to follow up on that is pretty limited if you're trying to fight through a Nautilus, through a Hecarim, with the Orianna ball in between you and the rest of the team. So TSM is actually going to give up their middle inhibitor. They're going to commit to the 1-3-1. The question is, do FlyQuest try to commit and end the game, or do they bail out?
Nexus.
Yeah.
They could lose Nexus. There was a full wave with Baron buff on, and now comes the recalls. Just now,
Bjergsen
and the top lane. Yeah, you're right. One got canceled. The GP ulti into the GP teleport. They're going for it right now. And can they get it in time? Engage comes across right for the Nexus. Shotgun comes across for the backline. Here comes the dive. 1 marksman's down. 2 marksmen are down. And FlyQuest run a 5v3. Nexus laid bare. They're looking to get one back in the series. And FlyQuest will make it to Game 4.
What a game from FlyQuest, battling back here. They mix it up in the draft. They go to the GP. They ban out some of these hard split push style champions. The Ornn is not picked here by Solo. He was not bullied as hard. Yes, he had some deaths, but he still stayed very relevant in this game. And FlyQuest drafted so many ways to start fights. So despite the fact that they did fall a little bit behind, they had answers to the 1-3-1 with the hard engage onto the Ashe. Anytime DoubleLift showed he was at risk of dying, sure, you want to send your Jayce and your TF out to the side lanes? Great. Hecarim's going to be coming at your Ashe at 1,000 miles an hour. He's going to get burst down. He's going to get killed. We're going to go to an objective and force you to come to us. And FlyQuest was able to do that. They were able to withstand the onslaught of what was a strong early game from TSM, but a couple critical mistakes from them really did cost them, because when you look at that mid lane team fight, had Broken Blade not overcommitted, what does that fight look like? Had Spica waited on the clap on the Sett to catch those 2 people that were Bard ulted, what does that fight look like? So it's these minor things that FlyQuest were able to isolate on and capitalize on to battle back in this series, and not going to be a sweep today.
It won't be a sweep, and I mean, TSM knows better than anyone. Their playoffs were held alive by a reverse sweep against Golden Guardians way back in the 3rd series they ever played after dropping the first time around. What better way for vengeance, maybe for FlyQuest, than getting their own reverse sweep? I'm glad to see engage tools in the jungle, a new look for them, and actually a good weak side top laner in Gangplank to withstand and still be useful. So a nice draft for FlyQuest and a well-played game, though it was back and forth. A tight game. We're going to Game 4, though, and for more on how FlyQuest kept their dreams of a title alive, we'll hear from Dash and the analysts.